Hey there, welcome to Hermit Haven. I'm Ashley.
And I'm Jacqui. We're so excited to invite you into our safe space. Hermit Haven is like a cozy little hideout where we get to celebrate being confident in ourselves as we find happiness in quiet moments.
So grab your favorite blanket and your favorite drink, and let's dive into today's episode.
Hi, I'm Jacqui. Welcome back to Hermit Haven.
Hi, I'm Ashley. We're excited to have you. This week we're going to chat about our past jobs. We're at episode 25, so every 5 episodes we like to do like a little funner episode or like an episode where you get to like kind of know us. So we thought it'd be fun to talk about kind of like where we've been, what we've done with work, besides this awesome podcast.
Yeah.
This isn't even really work. This is like fun hobby.
It's just us chatting together.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just thought like, I don't know, a little past about us. Maybe we can find some fun stories and things to talk about from what we used to do.
Yeah. You want to go first? You want me to go to first?
I don't care. I go first.
Okay, you go first.
The first job that I remember, because I used to like go to my dad's office and like shred papers and stuff like that. But the first job that like real job that I remember was at Michael's Arts and Crafts, which is very fitting for me because I love crafting and everything. Like my paycheck basically went back to the store when I worked there because I would just buy all the things. I would like scrapbook and whatever. I don't know, but I always like would go buy stuff after work. And one of my friends that I knew from Temple, actually, her mom, I didn't realize that she worked there. Like she was like a manager or like supervisor or something. I didn't know that when I got hired. And so I got to work with her, which was really cool because she was amazing. I don't remember like a ton about the job other than like I was just a cashier and I don't know how I even got through that because math is totally not my forte. I know, like, technically it tells you on the register, like, what you have to give back, but I was always scared that it would, like, be off somehow. And then I remember having dreams. Do you ever have dreams about, like, jobs? Yeah, I think everyone does.
Yeah.
That's the only job that not the only job, but, like, the one that I remember most, like, having dreams about. Like, I don't know, because some of the older crafting ladies, they can be a little much. Like they can be a little like the older ladies with like their yarn and their coupons and the sales, like they get a little
Like,
crazy.
give me it, honey.
They get crazy. They're like, I thought this was on sale. Like you need to go call someone, you know. Sorry.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that was it. It was fun though. We had a good time. That was when I was in college. I actually didn't work when I was in high school, but that was when I was in college, and I think that was when. So I had went to the University of Central Florida for a year, and then I moved back. I think that's when that was. Either that, or maybe it was like right after I graduated before I left. There was like a semester. I graduated a semester early from high school, so there was a semester. Maybe that was when it was actually that semester between high school and I started college in the summer. Anyway.
That was my first like so like you said you had like a job before your real jobs like so my like first like job I would say was like working with like my dad also like at his print shop like they tell me stories all the time about it but and I would always answer phone like I still remember like thank you for calling New Name and Printing but
Love it.
But I also babysat and like was like a mother's helper, a camp counselor, like
Yeah.
just did like the that's where my childcare days started, providing childcare. But my first like real job, like taxed and like all that, was Pizza Hut.
Oh,
I was making pizzas and then it became that I was like your cashier and you're making pizzas, you're answering phones, which I had dreams about those phones all the time because let me tell you, on a Friday night, those phones do not stop ringing.
people get
But
angry when they're calling you too.
yes. I feel like Pizza Hut was like one of these jobs where it was supposed to be like just like nonchalant, like really cool. Like I'm just making pizzas, but I had managers that would like walk out in the middle of a rush that couldn't handle it. And I'm like the only one there that like can handle it for some reason. And I would like end up being like in charge for like 4 or 5 hours. And everyone's like, what do we do? What do we do? I'm like, you do your job.
Pe-
Like,
Keep making the boxes, keep making the pizzas, keep answering the phones.
Yeah, I'm just like, it's not a big deal, but it's so funny because I think about it all the time that these like I always think about this, like the drivers knew how to like they were all like probably been at this store for like a long time. They never used GPS, they didn't use any of that. They just like literally knew exactly how to get there. There was like a map on the wall if they weren't sure, and they would look at the map before they left and they would go. And I'm like, it's insane.
Was that like MapQuest era or
It was
was
like I think cell phones were just becoming like more of a thing because I was like I think I was like at the end of my high school years. Like I think I was like 17, 18.
yeah,
So it was just crazy. I always think about that. I'm like nowadays like no one does that, I feel like we're all like cell phone.
yeah. Yeah, I don't I use my GPS to go almost anywhere. It's really terrible. Well, sometimes I just want to know, like even if I'm going to Disney, I know how to get there. And there's different ways, but I want to see what the traffic is like. And so since it will tell me about the traffic, then I'll just take the quickest.
Yeah. I also like that like the thing will tell me like how like what the speed limit is on like my GPS.
Yes, that's so helpful. Yeah.
So I definitely sometimes will just put the GPS on to see the speed limit. But yeah, that was like my first like I got paid job. I stayed with Pizza Hut, I want to say, for like 2 years. I was at two different stores.
Oh,
I like switched juice. I switched stores because like I didn't want to keep making pizzas. I was like over making pizzas. And so I switched stores to like just do cashiering.
that's a long time when you're young though to be with a company, I feel like.
Yeah, and then I picked up like a second job too. So I was like working multiple jobs. That was always my thing. I feel like for a long time I always had two jobs.
I don't know if I've ever, I'm so fortunate to say this. I don't know if I've ever had two jobs. I
I
don't think.
always had two jobs. I feel like this is the first time like when I moved to Colorado, it was like the first time I had like one job, but like still like babysitting and childcare providing. I can have like 3 sits a day, 4 sits a day, like
Yeah. I babysat when I was younger, but then when I went to college, I didn't anymore. But yeah, that's fun. Pizza Hut. Glenn worked at, I don't know, I think Papa John's. You had worked there for a while.
let me just say I haven't eaten Pizza Hut since I've worked there.
Like, did it tempt you to eat pizza since you worked there, or were you like, I can't even do pizza anymore because I
Oh,
see.
I definitely ate a ton of pizza when I worked there, but like I can't eat Pizza Hut. Like even though like I crave their cheese crust, like their stuffed crust, I have no desire to eat Pizza Hut.
Well, I feel like Pizza Hut's not even really like a lot of a thing anymore. I don't even see them. They used to have like their own standing buildings, and
Yeah.
I don't see them at all.
I just see the commercials like on TV now for them all the time. I'm like, and they brought back the cheesy bites, and I just think about how I used to like literally pay my coworkers to do my cheesy bites because you had like a certain amount of like pizzas that you had to prep, like each person had certain pizzas, and every time they have me prep the cheesy bite pizzas, I was like, absolutely not. Who's gonna do it for me? I'll pay you. They were like, you had to like sit there and twist each end and like it was like a special like thing you had to use. Like they were like, I feel like people don't realize like how much goes into making these pizzas. Like you had to count your pepperonis. Like everything was like you had to use a special ladle. Like
Yeah, there's a certain like recipe on like recipe for the pizza, but like recipe for what you're putting on it so that it's the same and you get uniform
yeah.
goal every time.
I was also a key holder at Pizza Hut actually for a little while too. So I would like open the store, which was like the funnest thing ever because I literally would just like open the store, pull out the dough, and then like for an hour there was nothing to do because you had to wait for the dough to proof. So
Yeah,
you're just like do eating my breakfast, chilling.
you know, that's fun. That's a long time. I think I was only at Michael's for the semester, because then I left. And then I don't think I worked up here my first year in college, and my second year in college, I went back down south because your girl didn't do that great. I had a really great GPA in high school, and then went into college, and I don't know what happened there. But so then I was down in South Florida for a year. When I came back up to Orlando, so this was my third year in college. That's when I started working at the wine room. I've had I had other stuff in between there, but like that was my next, I feel like, significant job was working at the wine room. I think I started working there a year or two, yeah, for like 2 years, and for the, I guess, rest of my bachelor's degree. Um, and that's where I met Glenn because he worked next door to me at the restaurant, the really nice restaurant next door to me that's not even there anymore. Um, the wine room is still there. The wine room is where you have the, for anyone that like doesn't know, you have the machines that have the wine bottles inside, and you get a card. It's basically like a Chuck E. Cheese or Dave and Buster's for adults, where you put money on the card and then you put it in the machine and you press the button and it gives wine to you in your glass.
That's so fancy.
Uh, yeah. And so, and there really wasn't anything like it at the time. I mean, there's really not many places that have it now. And it's been years since, I've worked there. But yeah, it was really cool. And so I guess someone that used to be on the Travel Channel, is the Travel Channel still a thing? It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
There was some girl that would like travel around all these different places and whatever, highlight different restaurants. And so I guess they had come to the wine room. This was like probably right before I started working there. And so people would see that episode and want to come to Winter Park, Florida, which there's really not much in Winter Park. It's like not even in Orlando, it's in Winter Park. It's a nice city, but they would come just because they saw her on the Travel Channel at the wine room. So we get people from all over the place coming, like sometimes from other countries.
That's
From
crazy.
Winter
That's
Park.
like guys. Like I feel like anyone that's like, oh, it's a guy been here, I have to go.
Yeah, yeah. So I worked there at the front, just like yeah, I mean, there were like servers, there were bartenders in the back, there were people that would like service the machines and like make sure if the bottles ran out and all that stuff. But I just worked at the front. Um, some of the Orlando Magic players would come in and stuff, so like I met some of them. But yeah, I worked at the front there until I started my master's degree, and I still worked for the wine room, but then I started working for like basically the lady that owns it. Um, I started working for her as like her personal assistant because then my master's degree, the classes were at nighttime, so I couldn't work at night. I had to work during the day because my classes were at night. So I started working for her and worked for her for like a year or so into my master's degree, but I was dating Glenn that whole time.
Which is so cute.
I love Glenny Pooh. Yeah, the wedding was fun. We had such a good time. There were a lot of people that like obviously come in and out of there, but we had such a good time. It was just like a good vibe. And the street that it's on, Park Avenue, it isn't open like super late. Like downtown's open till like 2, but it's only open till like 12, and it's like a neighborhood area.
Yeah.
It's interesting. It's like a really cute, nice street with all these nice restaurants and like little boutiques and all this stuff in the middle of like a very residential area, like suburbs. So, but yeah, it's cute. We'd still love going there.
I love that.
Yeah. I actually haven't been to the wine room in quite a while. Now they have one in South Florida too that I've been to. But
Gotta go back. You and Glenn gotta go for your anniversary.
oh, and I'm still in touch with the lady that I worked for, Misty. I need to text her and say hi, but I'm still in touch with her like all these years later because she knew Glenn because Glenn worked next door. So like and I
That's
worked at that. It must have been like 3 or 4 years that I worked for them.
wow.
Yeah,
Good job. You enjoyed it.
I know. It was
And brought you
fun.
Glenn.
Yeah, it was fun. And yeah, I don't know. We just all had a good time. It's a cute store, and she was always so nice to me. And
Yeah. I worked at a few restaurants. So after Pizza Hut, I worked at the Dairy Bar, which was like a local, like little breakfast lunch place. And like love the people I worked with. I still keep in touch with some of them.
was
I was
that South
like,
Florida?
this was in our Richmond, Virginia.
Virginia.
Yeah. So, and then I did everything there. Like I was a hostess, I was an expoer. I didn't serve, but I was hostess and an expoer mostly. And it was kind of cool. And then like it was cool too because the people that came in for lunch were all like local business owners. So that was really cool. Besides like I was like friends with everyone. And then after that, I want to say I worked at Quaker Steak and Lube, which is like a chicken wing place.
Wait, what?
Quaker Steak and Lube. It's
Oh,
it's a chicken place. It was like a chicken place that sold chicken wings. Like they have like this like atomic wing that they did a challenge for. I don't know. Their food was like I was obsessed with like they had this like Thai. It was like, I don't know, it was like Tajin sauce is what it was called. And I would always like dip my mozzarella sticks in there and then like it was so good. I was obsessed with like I would always get mozzarella sticks or like whatever. Fries were super good. Everything was super good. But I was friends with like we were all friends. Like it was like a family. It was like my favorite place I think I worked for like friendship and family. I'm still friends with like my best friend Jamal came from there. Like I still talk to some of the people. I swear to like we're all like acquaintances still, even if we don't talk.
Yeah.
Like, but the owner, like, oh my God, it was so dramatic. And of course, like I'm the type of person that's like, uh-oh, we ain't doing this. The owner decided like 2 weeks before Christmas that he just was done with like he's closing the place down. Like didn't tell anyone, no notice. Literally, we all showed up to work and there was like a sign on the door that's like, this place has been closed. Blah blah blah. Yeah, it was crazy. So me being me, called the news and like I like messaged the news on Facebook. Like I wouldn't say call, but I went on Facebook and messaged all the news outlets of Richmond, and all the news outlets showed up and like aired our story. We had like a big fundraiser to like help out like the servers because it was like 2 weeks before Christmas. Like all these people were relying on this money.
Yeah. That is wild. They didn't even say anything to you.
No, he had like other businesses in Ohio. This was like his only business in Richmond. Which it's funny because there's like these big garage doors on the place because like that was kind of like the theme. And guess like the company that like took over the building was like Enterprise afterwards. We're like, guess that worked out in your favor. But it
Oh,
was so fun like working there. Like the I think the manager made it fun. Like she was very big about like family dinners and just like always having fun. We had
aw.
like big events always. It was just like super fun.
Yeah.
I actually worked for her a couple times. Like she's gotten me other jobs afterwards. So super sweet lady.
It's exciting. I'm still friends with a couple people from when I worked at the wine room, and their like holiday parties were over the top, just good
I
stuff. But it's
love
funny
that.
when I started working at the wine room, I did not like wine.
Interesting.
Yeah, I didn't like wine at all. It took me a while to even get into it. Now I like all sorts of wine, but like I didn't couldn't even really like take advantage of I don't know how the niceness of the wine that that we were being
Yeah.
offered to try. Like I was like it was lost on me because I was like I don't even like wine.
You're like, what is this? Oh, okay. It took you a couple years.
Yeah, I got into it.
But yeah,
Um,
I kind of like stayed in, I guess like what I had like one more job in Richmond before I went to Israel.
hmm.
And then worked in Israel.
What'd you do in Israel?
I did marketing for like commercial real estate company, which was really cool. So they basically like you would rent out like an office like in their building or like a rent a space. And so like I did like all their like happy hour parties. It was super fun. And then I did that for 5 months. And then I moved to Elot and did another internship program. And I was a server, but they were trying to get me to like serve at like a VIP restaurant and like carry these like huge trays. And I was like, absolutely not. You're not paying me. Like, you're not tipping me out. You're not paying me. I was like, I'm not breaking my back for you to just like, you know, be like, carrying these trays. Like, so they
Yeah.
put me in the pool bar, and so I would open, close the pool bar every day, which was super awesome and easy. And they liked me, and I did that for like a year. It was cool though because so Elot is like where a lot of people go to vacation, so it was just like always like busy, and it was just cool,
Yeah,
nice.
lots of tourists.
Yeah, and then I came back
Fun.
to Richmond, and I think I just did childcare. I think honestly, I had like multiple jobs when I was like back in Richmond for like 5 years before I moved to Orlando. And I did like teaching and I did childcare and
Yeah,
nannying and all the good stuff.
get yourself busy.
Yeah, I had so many clients, especially in the Jewish community. It was like everyone knew me. It was like, oh, okay, let's have you babysit. Let's have you do this. So
How did you like when you were in Israel? I'm still so curious. When you're in Israel, how did you get the jobs there?
So it was an internship program. So I just like went online, did research, found a program that I wanted to do, and like they would set you up. Like you would like choose to who you want to, I guess, like work for and you like put in applications, like they had partnerships. So,
Like it's hard enough to find a job in the country that you already live in, but to find a job in a different country.
well,
What do
so
you?
the Tel Aviv one was like it was like they had partnerships, so you just kind of applied. And I interviewed with like two people, and I got the second one, which was where I ended up. And then for the second internship, it was like you worked at the hotels. Like, so I worked at one hotel, but like my roommates worked at a different hotel. So
Fun. But
it
when
was
you were,
cool though. It was cool though because like I feel like the way they do stuff is so different than America. Like you didn't like have to bring your uniform. Your uniform was cleaned every single day there. You got dressed in the locker room. You got fed at the hotel every single day. Like you didn't even have to be on the clock to get fed.
oh,
You just like showed up.
yeah, it's definitely.
It was great. So, and then like the building I lived in, because this was like very common for people to work at the hotel, was just hotel people.
Oh,
So it was like a big company, a big hotel company.
yeah, that's fun. I've never really asked you about that.
So I don't know. I had fun. Um, enjoyed it for what it was. They were like, it was totally different too. I think it's interesting too because they don't call their cashiers. They're called checkers. So yeah, and they like worked at different parts of the hotel, so you got like a different chat. You would like see a different person every day. Like it was so interesting the way they do stuff.
Hmm.
So,
Well, I, let's see. After the wine room, I left to work at the University of Central Florida. It wasn't the most exciting thing. I worked for, actually, it was kind of like a grant funded program for the university because it was when all of the electronic medical records at doctors' offices, like now you go in and they're like all on the computer and everything. It used to be obviously like on paper and they would have paper records. Oh, I worked at a dermatologist's office too. That was really fun. We did was like pull the charts for the day and stuff like that. We had a really good time. It was a bunch of girls. Anyway, I was in college too. That was when I moved, when I had come here and then moved back for a year. But yeah, I worked. That's where I met Brittany, though. I met her when I worked at the University of Central Florida, and we had like a blast working together. And Brittany's still one of my best friends. That was 2000, I don't even know, 11? No, must have been after that. Yeah, 2011, I think. Anyway, it was that exciting. I did like some marketing there and some other stuff. It was only open while the grant was there, and the grant was put in place to like help these doctors transition
hmm
from, paper to electronic. But I don't know. I didn't see like myself growing there because I knew it wasn't going to be around forever. I wasn't technically even working for the university. We were like subcontracted. But we called ourselves part of the university because it was
Yeah.
their grant or whatever. Um, and then and then I went to a company that we worked with, the universe, like when I worked at the ECF. It was a technology company that I forget what capacity the paths crossed because they didn't have like an electronic medical record company or anything like that. But I was hired on, supposed to be selling technology services, like IT and stuff like that. So this was, I don't know, 2012, 2013. 2013. That was
hmm
so, I mean, it's been a while. It's been like 10 years. I was supposed to be selling technology services. Me, who doesn't know anything about technology, I had never done sales, and I'm a very big introvert and I don't like talking to people. Why did I think that was a good idea? I don't know. So I remember being hired on and like having literally like a panic attack and being like, I don't know how I'm gonna, like, I might as well just quit. Like, I don't know. What the heck am I doing right now? And it was like a God thing because they were like, no, since I had my master's in health administration, they were like, we're going to have you learn how to help doctors make sure that their electronic setup is ready for HIPAA compliance.
Oh my
So
goodness.
most people know what HIPAA is. It's like in place so that it protects your information from being leaked, right? And so when you have like computers in the office, there's a lot that people can do to steal information, and it is millions of dollars in fines for these doctors if things leak and if you don't have things in place and if they come to check your practice. And it was like brand new. And so these doctors are like freaking out, like, we don't know what to do. We want to make sure we have everything in place. Like, what if we get audited or whatever, and we lose millions of dollars? Like, private practices, you'd think doctors make a lot of money, but like, they don't make as much money as you think. So I was taught how to go in and help doctors be in HIPAA compliance. And so I had to like kind of sell them on my services, if you will. They
Yeah.
kind of needed me though. So,
It, it went hand in hand.
they kind of needed me, but also they could have gone with someone else. Um, but so I had to like sell them on the service, and then I had to go in, talk to their office about what they needed to be doing, like to be in compliance and what they needed to have. I had to do like reporting and like learn how to do all this stuff. Like that was like probably my biggest growth as a job was that because I went into it with zero knowledge and not knowing what the heck I was doing. And I had to not only learn what to do, and then I had to like do presentations to doctors and to their offices, and like that is definitely like off my radar. Like that is like I really had to pull myself out of my comfort zone and out of my shell for that one. But
But you did
it's
it.
fun. It was fun. And at the same around the same time that I started that was when I started with It Works.
I was gonna
Never.
say, I was like, was this the It Works period of time?
It was kind of like, yeah, it was like a month after I started that because part of the reason why I started It Works was because I didn't know about the HIPAA part yet, and it was still like me trying to sell technology and no freaking clue what the heck I'm doing because I don't know anything about it. And so I was like, I can't do this. And like literally in that mental breakdown of I just need to like probably quit my job because I don't know what I'm doing. I was like, I saw Courtney's post about It Works, and I was like, okay, well, just tell me what it is. Maybe I can do that to make some income while I find a new job. Literally, that was my thought process of starting It Works. Like maybe I can use this to make some income while I'm looking for another job because I got to quit this one. But then the HIPAA thing happened, and I was like, okay. And so I did them at the same time. I was just like side by side. In the evening, I would do my posts and do whatever for It Works and talk to people. And during the day, I would be doing my HIPAA compliance thing. And I did it for a whole year until I was making more money with network marketing than I was at my job. And I was like, bye.
Peace out.
Yeah. And by the time I left, honestly, they had already had a lot of deadlines for doctors and stuff. And so there probably still was a need for what I was doing, but it wasn't like as big as it was like the year that I was doing it. So that's
Then you were
that.
super successful at Works until you became a mommy.
I figured out I helped. Yeah. It was really social media. I mean, because if social media wasn't a thing, I probably wouldn't have done It Works, or I wouldn't have been very successful. I don't think anyway, because I wasn't the person that was going to go do parties and events and be like, "Hey guys, come listen, try my products," and all this stuff. Like that was not going to be me. I didn't want to be that. Like that's just not who I am. And so social media really was what helped me take off. I know I'm just like rambling. You should probably talk a little bit more about you. But yeah, and here I am doing social media still. That was 2014 when I started with It Works.
Yeah.
Here I am over 10 years later, still making money off social media.
But you have like the best job ever. You stay home with the boys and you
Yeah.
like,
And by the time, I mean, network marketing, all that stuff happened, like then affiliate marketing became a thing. And so you could you can just give out your link these days to all different companies, like to know it, Amazon, but actual companies too. Like affiliate is huge, right
yeah.
now. So there's so many different ways. I mean, Facebook was paying out for views and Instagram, and you can make money on TikTok and the TikTok shop. And like, there's like a jillion and 5 ways now to make money off of social media. So
It's amazing.
it really set me up. That all 2014 set me up for being able to make something out of it today. So
Yeah. You're
that's
amazing at it.
that's my whole story.
That's the story. That's where you got how you got to where you are now.
Yeah. And I never had intention of, I'll let you talk in a second because I feel like I'm just rambling, but I never had intention of being a stay-at-home mom, honestly, because I always had the mindset of I'm getting my degrees. I'm going to be like working and growing my career. And I'm a pretty driven person, so I like to be building something. And thank goodness you asked me to do this podcast because, like, where would I be right now? What would I be doing right now if I didn't have this? I don't know. I guess still be doing social media stuff, but I
It'd
don't
be
know.
different. It'd be like a
Yeah.
different, it wouldn't, I feel like you wouldn't have like, I feel like you being able to do the podcast gives you this like creative outlet
Yeah.
where like, honestly, like, as much as like social media can be fun, it became like, it becomes stressful over time.
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely some and this is like, yeah, this is fun. And even though we're building it, it's just like we're able to be, I don't know.
Ourselves.
Yeah. And we grow a community. I mean, I grew a community there too, but like, I don't know. It's just different.
It's totally different. Well, okay, so back to my little, I feel like I like skipped a bunch of jobs. You don't need to know every single job. Just know like pretty much done childcare and hospitality and like working at a restaurant is mostly like main jobs I've had. But so basically like skip forward for those 5 years of Richmond, which I was a teacher, childcare, like did all the things, probably worked at another restaurant, worked at a golf place, like did a bunch of random stuff. You gotta pay the bills. So even though I feel like I really wasn't paying bills, I was just like going to festivals and concerts with my money, but that's okay. I was enjoying life.
You know, where your money goes, it's up to you.
Yeah,
You can,
I mean, for like 3 years straight, I was going to Disney, so like it is what it is.
yep.
I spend my money the way I want it. It was great, and now I have no money. But I then moved to Orlando with the purpose of like working with families on vacation. I applied for this like company where you babysit at different hotels and like different theme parks, and I was with them for about 5 years, like literally from the beginning of me moving to Orlando to leaving Orlando, I was with them, and I
Yeah.
had so many experiences, love them to death, like kids night out, my favorite. So many good experiences. Like, I don't know, I just got to be creative too at that job. Like I got to bring my own toys, like it was just great. It was everything I loved, and the HR manager, she's the best. And then I worked for Disney as we know, which was like a two, almost, I think I made it for like a year and a half, but I just was,
To open a new attraction.
yeah, I did children's activities, which was like my dream job, which in reality, I found out it was not my dream job. And then I opened a new attraction, which was something like I never thought I was gonna do. And I'm glad I did it, but like I knew it was not my thing,
It's
which
just
is
an experience
fine.
that a lot of people won't get to have, though, you know?
Yeah, I also worked for SeaWorld before I worked for Disney, which I absolutely loved working for SeaWorld. Like before COVID, like working at SeaWorld was like the best job ever. I absolutely loved it. Like I had so much fun and it was just like I was really good at my job too. Like really good. I would always win like anytime we had like a contest who could sell the most, I always won. Like I
Wait, so
was
what
just
did you do at SeaWorld?
I worked at tickets, like I sold tickets and I worked at guest services because if you do tickets, you do guest services. I also did tolls and then I also did like parking sometimes and then I did like the person that like scanned your tickets. I did like pretty much the entire front.
Hmm.
And then I became a trainer and that's where things just went downhill. But that's fine. It was time to leave. And I was like literally told to leave, like in a nice way. So, but I still like talked to some of the people
Troublemaker.
I worked at SeaWorld with. It was fine. Like I loved it. So, and then that was kind of like I worked at a hotel when I lived in Orlando also.
Mhm.
And that was a experience. Still talk to some of the people that I worked with. But then we moved to Colorado and I just did childcare for like the first 6 months.
Yeah.
And I like temporary nannied, like just had a bunch of sits. And then I got a job teaching again. This is like my, oh yeah, when I lived in Orlando, I also taught. So this is my third time teaching. I
But you
still,
teach, you got to teach even like when you're doing like sits and stuff like that, I feel like.
yeah,
I mean, it's different. I know it's not like a formal setting, but
I don't think I like the formal setting, but I just do it.
yeah.
So pretty much I've always had a job since I was like 18 and I've had multiple jobs. And even before I was 18, like I said, worked in my dad's print shop. I did all the things.
I feel like each thing that we do, like you take something from the experience that you can bring either in life or to like another job.
Yeah.
You know, even if it's completely different and like nothing to do with anything, like because of the one job that I don't even know if I'll ever be in that industry anymore, like I stepped out of my comfort zone so much to like do more public speaking and like not that I loved it, but like I forced myself to do it. Like there's just things that you take from each job to
Yeah.
bring with you.
I
So
feel
next,
like too, you grow as a person. I think too, sometimes jobs like I don't know, like maybe it's just my experience, but like some bosses and like people try to like bring you down because they're better than you. And I think over time you realize like we're all equal in a weird way. And I think you like personality wise, like you change. I mean I did network marketing like Jacqui did. I still do some social media stuff, try to make some money there. So like I feel like you just find new opportunities to do what you loved from one job to the next.
yeah. The whole management thing, that is interesting because like, when you're younger, you always see like a manager or like when we were in It Works, like people that were like at the top of the company, like you always see them as like these people way up there, right? And then you like finally you realize like, oh, they're just kind of the same as me. Like,
Oh, when I worked at the hotel, I think I taught said this in another episode, but I literally looked at my manager at one point and I said, "Where in my job description does it say that I have to do this?" Never ever once asked me again. Like I feel like sometimes like you like they think because they're higher than you, they can take advantage of you, and it's not the case.
yeah, I think there's, I could go on and on about how managers need a lot more
Yeah,
training on how to be a leader instead of
a manager.
telling you what to. I mean, obviously there has to be that level of I'm the manager, so I am going to tell you what to do because they're the manager. Someone has to be in charge, but also just yeah,
Yeah.
there should be leadership training for every
Yeah.
manager.
I think everyone should have training on how to like deal with like a work situation.
Yeah,
But I think we summarized where we've been, what we've done, our entire little like history of work, which if you want to know more, you can always ask us. We're very open about whatever it is.
give more detail.
Yeah, and if you have anything you want us to talk about, let us know. Let us know in the comments, let us know in the Facebook group. And we love that you come and join us every Wednesday for our conversations. We enjoy these little podcast talks with you, and we want to talk to you whenever. So comment, like us, let us know how you're feeling about this.
Thanks for hanging out with us.
We'll see you next Wednesday. We love you. Bye.
Thanks for spending time with us today and being part of our Hermit Haven community.
We hope you enjoyed our cozy chat and are inspired to embrace your inner hermit.
Remember, even in the quiet moments, you're never alone on this journey because we are truly all in this together.
So until next time, stay cozy, stay true to yourself, and keep spreading love wherever you go.
Bye for now.
We'll see you next time.